There's so many things in our life that we truly, truly, when we become the age we are, like let's say past 14, there's so many things that we either forget, don't understand, or can't articulate as to the why. And so for me, I teach a class. It's actually turning into quite a massive class, actually, Ascending Consciousness. We're up to like 15 weeks now, and I just keep adding more. The epiphanies are around how we want to protect ourselves and we want to protect our children. And how many of you want to protect your kids? I don't want anything bad to happen to them. I want them, to be able to live their life, but not have anything bad happen to them. And as we grew up, it's like worst case scenario. Oh my gosh, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if this happens? And what if that happens? We automatically will go down that worst case scenario of, oh my gosh, who's going to protect them? And how many of us go down the route of who's going to look after them when I'm not here? And I'm actually going to use this from a standpoint of a friend of mine. A friend of mine went through a stint of bipolar, and he ended up in the hospital. And his biggest fear was that there was no one to look after his children. But he was like the serial dater and like the serial husband and I gotta marry whoever. And every time he did that, he would find the people that would ditch him or, play the games, this lasso and rope and I'll hold you tight. And so walking through it with him a couple of years ago made me realize how much shit we hold on to and we think we have to hold it. That it's our responsibility. I lived through this. I'm going to take it with me. It's like this extra baggage we think we have to carry to the airport, and then it doesn't fit in the baggage thing. And then you got to pay the price. How many of you have paid the price? My biggest component in my life that I never realized is that love has to cost something. And how many of you may not see it in the same way, but just hear me out for a second. When we feel like something has to cost something, that means we've already lost it. So we've already lost it. It wasn't something that, was going to be gone. We've already lost it. That's why we think we're going to lose it. So we think that if we're playing the game, there's something for us to lose. So if you had parents who separated or divorced or one was an alcoholic and was never home, one loved his job more than his family, you're going to maybe possibly think that love can come at a cost. And the nervous system just has a heyday. You will be on the lookout for all of it. You will avoid everything at all costs. You will avoid certain situations because you already know what the outcome is going to be. If we hold on to stories, how many of you have experienced that in your own life where you're just anticipating something going off? I see this with a lot of my male clients because they will come and be distracted away from their family and they try really hard to be present with their kids and then they still go off and be distracted. It can be the same way for females as well. Right? I'm the primary care, and then I want to be able to go and do things I want to do, and then I want to be able to do this, and then we try to unbeknownst to us, we'll kind of push that away just a little bit, and we'll feel guilty later. And so these are patterns that are starting to emerge, not just from myself, but from a lot of people. We collect things as we go, and your sack of shit, bullshit, belief system, whatever you want to call it, we start to carry more and more of it. You got some shoulder aches and pains because you're carrying the weight of the sack all the time, right? The more you carry, the heavier it gets. The more you carry, the more emotions you store. The more you carry, the more depressed you get. Because we're not taught how to start letting the shit go. And the more we start realizing that we have to let the shit go, we just collect more. Anybody agree? When you think, okay, I'm going to release more and more and more, you collect more and more and more, maybe in a different sense, in a different way, but we start to collect more. And then the nervous system goes, hold on a second. I don't know what to do. I can't do that. I'm not allowed to have that. I can't do that. It's not working. And then we isolate. Well, I gotta go to bed now. I need to avoid. This is not working, so I'm gonna go sit and mope. And I'm not saying you mope. I'm just giving the broad explanation. But sometimes our emotions end up in this, and we don't know how to stop it. That's good. Avoid and isolate. Yeah, and you do that partly because no one showed us how to like pull the shit out and be done. The easiest thing when we don't know those things is to go somewhere else. And we'll come back to it later. Thanks for being so honest, Kimmy. That's amazing. Thank you, all of you, for being vulnerable. Ladybug's like called out. Because the system is overloaded. I'm going to give this back to you as a child. So even if you have kids, you'll reference this, or this will be your own. You're at school, you're doing the work, and you're good, and then a teacher throws more at you. And you're like, I didn't even finish that yet. Now I have homework. And what am I going to do? And then you got to go for recess. Well, if you're already in this and you're going for recess, you're like, do I want to go play, or do I want to sit here and do nothing? Do I want to... And you'll try to go play, and then all of a sudden it's like, no. Well, this becomes your adult life too. This becomes your adult life. I insert myself, no, I gotta pull back. I wanna go here, no, I gotta pull back. This isn't working, I gotta pull back. They don't like me, therefore I'll isolate. And here's what may happen, is we turn to things to numb us. Alcohol, beer, cigarettes, marijuana. I gotta go build that. I gotta go get that renovation done, and then nothing gets done. I need to go do this over here, and then it doesn't get done. You guys are fun, right? How much is getting done? Nothing, because the system is so overloaded. What did you gain from any of it? Absolutely nothing. You learned the pattern. You learn the pattern, and you learn to hold the pattern, and you learn to go in the loop. Doom scrolling is one of the biggest things, yes. Literally your life, that's your life. Overloaded, yes. Here's the thing. If I was to ask you where you learn most of this stuff, and I'm going to get to exactly why. If I was to ask you where you learned most of it, the terminologies, this doom scrolling, where did you learn it from? I'm pushing a button there for you, and I'm glad. Keep going. Do you know where? Do you know what I have found? And I can only speak for myself, and if you agree, you'll put your own emoji stuffies in the chat. Most of the stuff I learned when I thought I awakened into the spiritual journey. The more people who start to come and see me, the more it's very apparent. There is things that we just want Google to tell us. We have to stop turning to Google. Google's going to give you every information that you want to hear. In the terminology of you're holding it, it's time to let go. It's time to realize who you're being. Let me ask you this, just yes or no. How many of you in this moment who could shift anything to have your whole body, your mind, your soul, every ounce of your being come into complete and full alignment right now would do it in an instant? Yes or no? And if you say no, there's no judgment. If you say yes, there's no judgment. There is no such thing. You choose for yourself. How many of you are done in the pattern system that you created for yourself of nonsense? And again, I can only speak for myself. When I realized, when literally love costs you came up, I bawled like a baby. And here's why. And again, I can only share from my perspective. You guys put whatever emoji you want to if you agree. Here's the thing. In the middle of my spiritual journey in 2023, I saw a friend of mine ask for her twin flame to come in. He swooped in, swooped her off to another country, off they went, had a great relationship, blah, 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 blah. Where they are now, not up to me. I've heard through the grapevine. I looked at that relationship and said, I would love to have my soul family. You create the definition of what that is for you. Whether that's your family, a soul family takes the place of that, you label it for you. Here's what I learned. I learned the same pattern as a soul family is the same pattern as love still costs you as my family did when I was little. And I looked at that and went, wow. Interesting thing is, when I had that experience in 2023, the first thing I said after was, if that's how family treats you, I don't want any part of it. If that's how soul family is supposed to treat people, I don't want any part of it. And here's why. I already grew up with that shit. My parents were together, had fights, and then divorced. It still cost me my dad. It still cost me my mom. It cost me the love I could have got. Or could it? Oh man, you're speaking such sound truth right now. You're very welcome. The biggest thing is we have to understand why we are creating the life we're creating. Nothing costs you anything other than what you think you're costing yourself. So the profoundness of how we step forward and the profoundness of how we start letting go starts to become the checklist of, I don't fucking need this shit anymore. I'm not talking just, hold on, I don't need the crystals anymore. And I don't need this anymore. And I don't need those people anymore. I'm talking, let's overhaul the whole fucking system. Because when you do, when you overhaul everything you think, my word, I literally snapped my finger yesterday and pointed and the clouds disappeared. That's how magnetic it was. Today I was like, I'm going to just go do this. And everything fell into place as I walked. And I was just like, holy crap. I said to myself in the car, I'm going to this store to get this Easter bunny. I went to the store, there was 2 left. I bought them both. Easter was over yesterday, and here where I live, there is no Easter bunnies left after Easter because everything goes on for dirt cheap and everyone buys it all. So by the time I go, there's none. I'm like, no, I'm going to buy this and it's there. I walked in the door, it was right there. So allowing ourselves to start uprooting the bullshit and the belief systems and the perceptions and all of these yummy little things that we created that we no longer need, it's now time.